This bill be now read the second time. The honourable member for Nelson.
Thank you, Mr President. Just a short contribution from me. Others have gone through in some detail and asked some excellent questions I'm keen to hear the answers to. I'm incredibly pleased to see this bill before us. It has been a long time coming. It's been an identified need for a long time to expand this therapeutic jurisprudence approach from beyond just the illicit drug side of things into also incorporating dependence on alcohol as a basis on which to access this form of response in our criminal justice system. Therapeutic jurisprudence is so valuable, and we can be hard-headed about it and think of it in just pure economic terms, and I think, as the member for Hobart pointed out quite accurately, it's incredibly cheaper to actually support people in this way rather than incarcerating them in a prison. But I would also, I think, prefer to think of it as more effective on a personal level for those involved. It's so much more productive and effective in a rehabilitative sense to provide people with support to help manage and move past the issues they're having with drug dependence or alcohol dependence and that factor in their criminal behaviour, and help them to repair that rather than just simply be punished for it in an environment, in an incarcerated environment, which will simply make it worse and put the community more at risk. So this is a win-win-win. It's an economic win, but much more importantly, it's an important win for the individuals involved and for our community more broadly. So this is an excellent development. It's a simple thing. It's puzzling that it's taken this long, quite frankly. I will be very interested to see over time how effectively we implement it, because, of course, you know, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding when we actually can demonstrate with confidence that not only have we put this arrangement in place and the structures in place to deliver it, but that we are funding it appropriately and that we have the appropriate services there that we can apply the funding to support the people who are involved. Others have discussed the places available within those capped spots across the state already. I agree, it would be incredibly unfortunate to think that somebody might miss out because we've reached the cap, and we would certainly not want that to happen. I did ask in the briefing, and I'll put it on the record again here, if there was any modelling done to inform us about what we might expect, particularly in this first couple of years of operation prior to a review being done, what we might expect to see in terms of numbers coming through as a cohort under these new arrangements relating to alcohol. I would have thought, since we have had the TLRI and the Sentencing Advisory Council looking at this and advising us to go down this path for some time, we may have been monitoring arrangements coming through the court, or the people who are coming through the courts and being sentenced currently in other ways when their criminal offence has related to alcohol dependence. We might have captured that data and have a good idea about how many to expect. That may not have occurred. It would be good to have it confirmed whether we know what to expect. I certainly would have imagined one of the most likely cohorts that would very much be applicable for this arrangement would be people who are having repeated driving under the influence offences and invariably at this point in time have to end up being incarcerated for short periods, 3 months or 6 months, and that's not helpful to anyone really, other than overtly putting them off roads for a while. They come out and then are back on roads, and nothing has been done to assist with their alcohol dependence and the situation that they went into prison with. So if we are able to direct even just that cohort of people into a much more effective, much more compassionate, much cheaper option, then that's a positive for our state. I do note, and I think others have mentioned as well, that of course we can have co-occurring issues for somebody whose criminal offending has been related to both drug and alcohol dependence, and that's awkward. I was reassured, though, to hear that although one or the other will have to be identified as the primary basis on which to access a treatment order through this mechanism, the other aspect can also be accommodated in terms of the services and supports that are linked to and the requirements put in place. So hopefully that works well. I imagine that will be something that we learn a lot more about at the time of the review 3 years down the track, so we can see where that has been, the degree to which that has been a factor for people coming through the program, and whether the current arrangements in place have accommodated that well or otherwise. So that's probably the extent of my contribution, Mr. President. As I said, I'm incredibly pleased to support this bill. I'm pleased about the amendment made in the other place to pop an independent review in there. Nothing like an independent review to help us tell us how well we've done and whether we need to make further tweaks, because it's never set and forget for these sorts of, or for any piece of legislation in fact, but certainly for these sorts of programs that we're bringing in as new or adding into existing programs newly. We need to always be looking to how we can improve or tweak to make it more effective. So thank you to the staff for providing the briefing this morning, and to the government for bringing this through and putting it in place.
Question is the bill be